with a chief who's appointed, and with a local council that's asked for advice. That is the kind of democracy that has always existed in Africa. So local rulers, they appointed the chief, they appointed this council, and that's how they ruled their local society. The way that Western democracy works in Africa is that it leads to violence. It leads to heavily spending money that they don't have, and actually the way that it works in Africa is actually politicians who spend most money on beer and on cigarettes and on giving away things to local people. They get most support. So there is it's a race that is run purely through economics. Well, we don't only see that in Africa, we see that in the United States too. If you look at how much money is spent by the candidates in order to get support, it's enormous. So it's not, you can actually say that the democracy today is more of a money race to get sponsors than it is a race of finding the best candidates. So the problem with that is that most of the money that comes into Africa to support this democratic system comes from Europe, and the problem with that is that actually the people who receive those donations, they have more they have stronger relations, a stronger debt towards Europe than towards their own people. So this is actually a dangerous situation that could be counterproductive for the African countries. So what he's saying, that democracy in itself, it doesn't work in Africa, and there are actually alternative models like the monarchy of the Netherlands, like the presidency in China, like other institutes that work as well, if not much better, than our Western democratic system. That simply does not work in Africa.
So I don't understand what his recommendation is. He does not support Western democracy.
Yes.
What is alternative opinion?
He gave that just now. He clearly explained it. Just go back to the way that we have been doing democracy throughout in history. That's basically having the local chiefs with a local council. That is the best way to.
What is it?
Basically, it's like almost like people vote their mayor, and they have a local council, so a representative from members of that village, and that's how they rule themselves.
How organized country base? He's talking about
right,
local governor, right?
Right. So probably how that would translate on a country base is that those chiefs would select a regional chief, and a regional chief selects select a national chief. So it's more of
like
a
similar
district
to China
system. Yeah, yeah. He says that there are a lot of systems without democracy that work very well, like the Roman Catholic Church and the Dutch monarchy and the Chinese system. Why are the West imposing democracy on us? It's expensive, it leads to violence, and the outcome is more determined by how much you spend than by the quality of your policies. Plus, actually, it leads to corruption, and it leads to other things. So,
but governor's election is the same. Lives.
No, it's not. So that election is not so much of an election, actually. Oh, you mean the people who are in the council? It's mostly based on seniority.
Oh, he's not talking about governor.
No.
Council is local representative.
Yes. Yeah.
Like China.
Right. Like China.
But this is China's system is not kind of socialist or communist, just kind of typical special
Chinese system.
Chinese system.
Right. Right. Well, so basically, those local villages, they have a chief and they have a council. That's how it works everywhere in Africa, not only in Congo, but everywhere.
Yeah. A local representative.
Yeah.
Tribalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somalia, this tribal head is going to be selected. Local provinces.
Yeah. So, what you see when you ask a Kenyan, for example, where he's from, then he would most likely define himself as a Luo or a Kikuyu or a Samburu or whatever, but only in second thought he would define himself as a Kenyan. So the racial lines, the tribal lines are still very much present within African society.
Oh, this is like Saudi Arabia or kind of Muslim society like that, right?
Well, Saudi Arabia it has been always nomads have been there, right? So they have been going around and traveling in packs. Not really. They only recently settled.
How do you think?
Well, to some extent, I believe that he's right that it doesn't work, the democracy. Whether, and I also feel that when you are implementing a system, then there is no. I mean, it's not fair to impose a system that is not native to your people. So democracy in itself is not a like a golden arrow. It will not solve all your problems. And if the system doesn't work, which it obviously doesn't, maybe a different system would be better. So whether this is the tribal system that they still have, I think that also causes for a lot of problems. Like the tribal system, it is very native to the local people, but there are also a lot of conflicts between tribes, and when you stick to those lines, I mean, it's basically, is it very efficient? That's the question.
You mean not efficient?
Right. So can if you're going to really implement a system that is very much focused on grassroots democracy, then I wonder whether this will actually help your country to develop. Against this, and in another video that I would like to show later, these same countries are talking about starting an African Economic Union modeled after the EU. That is going in a completely different direction. That's actually delegating responsibilities away from the countries to a transnational body to get more economic power versus the rest of the world. So I don't know exactly whether the introduction of formalizing tribalism as a form of democracy would be contributing to initiatives like the African Economic Union.
But last week we discussed election itself doesn't work in Africa because of ordinary people's education level is so low.
Yeah. Well, actually, I got a quote from an African famous person. I think he's a musician, but kind of a leader, a thinker about this. And yeah, he's saying the same thing. How can we expect people to vote responsibly if they can't even?
Advanced developed country, ordinary people are well educated, so they can elect, you know.
But Uno-san, they still vote for Trump then.
Trump is not bad. Not bad, and his character is terrible. But
no, he's terrible.
Yeah, political policy is very fairly appreciated in America.
Appreciated.
In America, this actually the supporter is more than 50%.
So what you're saying is that like building a wall with Mexico is a good idea.
Well, some cases terrible, but the major his policy is fairly evaluated.
Starting a trade war with China is good policy.
Oh yeah, he did very remarkable progress. He did. Like China tried to make protect government state-owned company, and Trump said it's bullshit. And they opened many, restricted industry. They opened, they improving trading. Actually, Trump did. Obama, he cannot do that, but Obama did it. It's good. I just he's not all of those, but he's doing very well. Mexican border wall is terrible, but some other things is. But he hate brown color people, yellow color people, black people, and he is a white color superiority type of person. This is his bad character. There's no way. But any other political issue is very good. Or like Obamacare,
disrespects women.
Trump care is terrible, but he's just some major portion of what that like he retreat from Afghanistan, Syria is very good decision, right?
Yeah, but he's going to put Blackwater in there. Eh?
Of course, this is he need money. So
yeah. No, okay, but there's so many things here already. Like asking a few questions. He has a lot of terrible things.
Okay, he needs money.
Also, he put he stopped all the climate agreements. That's also a good policy.
Oh, this is his character. He's not chasing money.
I mean, sorry, Uno-san, I do not agree that Trump is a good president.
But
he's terrible.
Most important is you don't consider the aspect of European people. He's just more than 50 people support him. This is a fact.
50%. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that
why
if Dave
but just why he supported, because he tried to bring back middle class people income.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
already disappeared.
Moody.
No. But he said, okay, he tried to do that. He's against billionaires. Okay. He against rich people. This is true. And he has
he's not against rich people.
He doesn't care tactics. Okay. And I like money. I like women. I hate not white people. Right. This is his character. But he just tried to revive middle class people in their society. That's the reason why majority people support him. And he just competitor is rich people, right? Like 400 families, rich family.
But he's not. That's not at all what he's doing. His policies are supporting the rich people.
No.
Tax breaks and everything.
No, European people is pitiful. Shortcoming. You must evaluate why American people support him.
Right. So because he says he supports the middle income people, but the only way that you can do that is you give them back economic power, not stupid, thoughtless measures that will not really help them.
No.
This is just there. He's damasareteru yo.
No. 300 million population in America.
Mm.
This majority people support him. We must calmly listen to their opinion.
No.
Okay.
No. They support him because they do not evaluate what he's really doing. Because he's the anti-voice. He was not an accepted member of the Republican Party. He was certainly not a member of the Democratic Party.
Okay.
That's what.
Wait a minute. You can criticize him whatever you want, and based upon New York Times, based on BBC and CNN, but he is supported. But you just more calmly evaluate what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm doing that, and I can only see things that are either irrational, unfair.
Your aspect is the CNN, BBC, and New York Times, or Nikkei newspaper.
Ono-san, no, he does so many terrible things. It's unbelievable.
But he's supported. Why he's supported?
I think because he's the anti-voice. He's basically, okay, sure, there is a problem because American middle class is disappearing, but he will not bring that back, because the only way that you can bring back the middle class is not by supporting them.
Must be careful. This is this is the most important thing is somebody told me that on the news we must be evaluate the information. Okay. Information. What kind of information do you have? And you don't speak up opinion without information. Okay.
Yeah.
This is very important. I'm just seriously. I had same opinion like you before, but now recently he is supported. Why he is supported? This is very important to make a judgment who he is.
But it doesn't mean that he does the right things, Uno-san.
No.
I agree. He's supported.
You just it means what you're talking about. You negate America, okay?
Yes, I do believe. So the point was, why do I get to this point? Because you say Africa is not ready because they don't have the people are not educated well enough. I say even if country has people who are very highly educated, who are literate, who have access to information, they can still choose the wrong candidate.
I tell you. America is not well educated. Don't misunderstand that, okay? America is not well educated.
Well, certainly his voters are not.
No, great local country.
Right. So his
many people they don't know where Japan is. Not
certainly the Trump supporters.
But this is actually that America is America. So he did wrongdoing, but he is supported. But this is America. All right.
Yeah.
So we need to. America, a democratic country? I don't think so. Right. So this is a fact. Well, but if you go consider for Africa, right?
This is what I need to actually give to Trump, because actually he got elected even though he didn't have many sponsors. He didn't have a lot of money behind him, different from Clinton.
No, he don't have.
No. So actually, that's in that sense, democracy prevailed, and